Hi there, and welcome to Open Studio. Thank you for tuning in. Today, we'll be chatting to the amazing director of AVA Gallery. I'm your host, Celeste Florence, so enjoy this journey with us. Welcome, Mirjam, and how are
Thank you.
you?
I'm great, thank you. How are you?
I'm too young to complain, thank you. Would you like to share with the viewers today? Tell me about AVA Gallery, the history. Tell me more about it because I know that you guys have just been celebrating 170 years, in the art field. So tell us more about that.
Thanks, yes. So it's called the Association for Visual Arts. So the AVA stands for Association for Visual Arts. And it's true, it was actually 1850 that a group of artists got together in Cape Town. And they decided that they should take care of the art affairs of, it was then called the Cape Colony, I think. And they created this association, and it was membership based. And they actually their first mandate was to make a national collection that didn't exist at that time, and that eventually, like years later, became the National Gallery that's you can find now as Ezeco National Galleries. So the first mandate was big, and then what I like about this is that it's now 171 years later. Actually, we are still that membership based organization, so any artist can become a member, and if you're a member, you can vote in a board member, and the board members really run this space. So it's super democratic, and it's still showing what Cape Town or the Western Cape are making in terms of visual arts.
Yes, in terms of, and wow, that is very interesting. Apart from your history and all those type of things, can you tell me the vision and the mission of AVA Gallery?
It has always been actually to promote artists and art, contemporary art. So it really wants to show, it doesn't try to be the hottest or the coolest or the best selling or any of that, even though of course we have hot and cool talent. But it's a showcase for any type of artists. You must be professional though. We don't do Sunday painters, etc. But if you're anybody can become a member, and then we run projects such as platforms and workshops, etc. But the core since all those years has been to run professional exhibitions. So people can apply to have an exhibition with us, and then they run for about 4 or 5 weeks, and we make now an annual program. So we have about 30 to 40 exhibitions per year, and often solo shows, like you'll speak later with Tangeni, and also group shows. And for the first time this year, we do curated shows.
Oh,
I'll tell
that's
you more
interesting.
later if you like.
Fantastic. Now, and then, looking at your organization, it being in South Africa, tell me, it being a non-profit organization, what role does this play in our Cape Town or South Africa areas?
I think it was important when it started because it was really, we call it almost like an advocacy body, also a lobby body for the sector. And then for a while in the 70s and 80s and 90s, I think it became part of the Cape Town landscape. There were maybe 10, 12 important art galleries at the time, most of them for profit, and we were not for profit, but the difference wasn't so prominent. But since the advent of those mega museums like Zaid's Mokka and Norval Foundation in Tokai, the landscape has changed again. And I'm talking about the last 2, 3 years. So these amazing big museums have put Cape Town on the map, on the world map for contemporary visual arts. So all of a sudden, I would say even we're kind of the hotspot of Africa
Wow.
for contemporary art, Cape
Yes.
Town.
Yes.
And within that sector, you see that things have commercialized very rapidly. That's
That's so true.
absolutely fabulous for artists because they sell more
Exactly.
and more artwork.
Yes.
But it also means that there's some sort of codification. So, like, if you're not now what can be seen at Norval or Zeids, then you might fall off that map. And there is where we become really important again, that we showcase whatever is being made. You know, if you're a
Yes.
professional artist and you make it through our selection committee, which changes every year. So if you don't get in one year, you try
You
again
might
the
get.
next year. So we are now a kind of a leveler. We counterbalance that trend of a particular trend of visual arts that the mega museums are setting.
Wow, thank you for that important information. And then I also notice that you guys keep regular exhibitions and those type of things. For our viewers that are watching today, and even those that are interested in doing this and taking this on in future, tell me how important and what takes place for those who don't even know what exhibition means. What takes place when you guys have this on a regular basis?
Well, one nice thing is that we have this really cool space. We have a beautiful, it's an ancient building. It's on the heritage list from 17 something. And once
Yes,
there
yes.
was a freed slave called John Brown who owned it. So it's a heritage building in the city center. So right in that little pedestrian area of Church Street, just a stone's throw away from the Green Market
Yes,
Square.
yes.
And the great thing is you can walk in any time at your lunchtime or on first Thursdays or
Oh,
any time and see what we do. So in that old building, we have about 4 different exhibition spaces, a
yes,
main gallery and a more classical long gallery
yes.
and an upstairs mezzanine and even a little room is called the new media room where we
Wow.
show videos and
Yes.
video art and installation art. At the moment there's a game, there's a that
Oh,
you can
there's a game.
play with. It's looks like a little sort of dungeon room with a small light on a set of cards. It's
Yes.
quite. So the point is, you can see visual arts there from our member artists,
Yes.
and in fact from anybody who has applied to us. You can apply once a year, and
Mhm.
if you go onto our Facebook or Instagram or
Yes.
website, you will see that every winter we call for proposals for
For
exhibitions. And then if
exhibitions.
you are an artist who is making a living with their art or is aiming to make a living with
Yes,
your art,
definitely.
you're welcome to send in. Our application system is very simple. It's just
Okay.
send in some images and a short list of questions. And then this small selection committee that
Yes.
the members have chosen
Oh,
will
they
make a
choose.
full-on program. Also, when you come to our place on 35 Church Street, you can pick up our program. I should have brought you one and I forgot, but we have
Yes, no
this quite
problem.
elegant little program that shows all the exhibitions of the whole year. So
Wow.
if you come and pick it up, it's for free. You
Yes.
can see any of the openings. We normally open on a Thursday evening,
Oh, on a Thursday.
and everybody's welcome.
Fantastic. Okay, thank you for that information. It is on Church Street. So, to the ordinary people and the artists out there and those who are interested in taking their career further, they're more than welcome to come pop in at any day. And then, if they are interested, they can just check it out on your different social media pages or your website and submit their visual or their information or questions that they have. So, for those who are watching, if you are interested, why not pop around at Church Street in Cape Town? Go check it out at the AVA Gallery. And for those who have just tuned in, stay tuned because we'll be back with even more important information. Thank you. For those who have just tuned in on Open Studio, we welcome you back. With us, we have our esteemed guest with us, Mirjam, who has not only been telling us the more important information about the AVA Gallery, but stay tuned because there is more information for you. So, Mirjam, as we were having our conversation earlier, about your gallery and those type of things, with COVID, us being in COVID-19 right now, how has this affected your gallery and your exhibitions?
Big time, of course,
Yes, I
unfortunately.
can imagine.
2020 was a drama. Of course, we all went into our
Yes,
houses and
yes,
behind our computer screens. For example, Tangeni's show was scheduled for May 2020, and that could not happen. We had to close our doors, of course.
sure.
But what it did do, first it all looked terrible. No
Yes,
sales, no income, no this, cancellation, cancellation. What
yes,
it did do, we really became very creative at just looking at ourselves and our programs. Of course, we are a not-for-profit organization, so we
yes.
have all the public benefit stamps
Okay,
and
that's great.
all the financials in place. So we could also raise funds, and normally we don't really have time for that
Oh, I
pre-COVID
understand.
because we're
Yes,
running
because
exhibition.
that's correct.
And all of a sudden we had time to think of how could we use our spaces
Yes,
differently and where could we also
improve. Yes,
access other type of funding if it's not through sales.
yes,
And we managed one of the sort of the projects that I'm proud of is we started a lounge. It's called Lounge Plus.
Wow.
So also if you
that
come
sounds interesting.
pass by on 35 Church Street, you can find it. So it is a very comfortable sort of old voorkamer type of salon room.
Oh,
And it has couches and all of that. And you can literally relax there, read some books. Our
wow.
archives are there, all our 90s archives,
Yes.
which is another project.
Okay.
And in the lounge, we call it Lounge Plus. So we will have conversations with artists in that lounge.
Yes.
And then the plus is for the virtual lounge that we create through a Zoom link and a projector onto the wall. So
That sounds cool.
we are sitting on our couch. We
Yes.
talk with artists anywhere in the world, really, on their couches. And we
Wow.
try to get the officialness out of Zoom. So make it
Yes.
more
Comfortable
bodily,
and
more comfortable.
Yes.
And then we record these sessions. We've just started it, really, with a grant from the National Arts Council.
Yes.
And then every first Thursday we publish a podcast. It's called Lounge
Oh,
Plus
that's
Conversations. So there was one last first Thursday, and the
Yes.
next one will appear on the first Thursday of February.
Okay.
And it will feature Tangeni Kambudu, actually.
Fantastic. That sounds really interesting.
So we make visual arts come to your ears,
You're
if that is
making it
possible.
work, yes. That is quite interesting. And through these changes that you guys have made and, taking the time out to change and create things, new things in your space, tell me, during this COVID-19, has the government been doing anything that could help you guys in terms of, these different avenues and different things that you have been trying to make it work?
The good thing is we got a nice little relief fund from the province, actually. The province have been
Wow.
very helpful, yes.
That's great.
And with that, we could actually fund the exhibitions of the artists, because normally in our space, the way it's set up as a not-for-profit, artists actually pay a small rental fee for our spaces, for the exhibition.
Wow.
And we could waive that completely, and we could
Yes.
give them then opportunity to choose a new slot in the new year, in the 2021, and that's also what happened with Tangeni and other artists.
Yes.
So yes, that's also, I think the National Arts Council was more generous than they were in previous years. So
yes,
actually we did,
But they
and
made
we
it
now applied for the relief funds from the president. We have not had
Yes.
the answer yet, but we
Okay.
have good hopes.
Yes, no.
So somehow we definitely
hopeful.
managed. Everything that we lost on sales of artwork, we actually made on income generation from funds. So that is quite amazing.
That is
I
amazing.
cannot say if 2021 will be the same, but
Yes,
we'll try to
I think
manage
we're
that also.
all being hopeful for 2021, and we believe
Yeah.
that it will be better and things will change for the best.
Hmm.
And then I also do know, Mirjam, that you guys have a volunteer program. So tell me, for those who are watching, if they are interested in coming on board and helping and volunteering, what do we need to do, and tell us more about the program.
So there are really two ways actually to volunteer. So one, if you are a member, and I said it a little bit at the beginning of the conversation,
Yes.
if you are a member, you can ask another member to nominate you as a board member, and all our board members are volunteers.
Wow.
And then if you are on our board, it's very
Yes.
simple. You ask your friend to nominate you, and then at the annual general meeting, you can be voted in, and most people are voted in. there's no specific reason.
Okay.
And then as a board member, we split up the board members in like a marketing committee and a fundraising committee and a selection committee and a governance committee. That's quite nice. And then you actually get to do quite a bit of sort of management work,
Yes,
and you get to see all the aspects. But there is another way. If you don't want to go that long route of and being on the board, then we have a website and we have a little volunteer form. So you can just offer your services for helping us out on the first Thursday, to help install exhibitions, or in fact, you can indicate yourself which aspect of the sort of the visual arts scene interests you.
Okay.
And then we'll try and find a space for you.
Wow, that's interesting. So
in fact, we run by volunteers. Yes, sorry to say that we are only 2.5 staff members, and the rest of the people are volunteers. But it makes it a community organization.
Yes, that's what makes it so special. And then I also do know that you have an Outreach program. Tell us more about Outreach.
So Outreach started as long back as the 80s, the 1980s. When we realized, because as I just told you, artists normally pay a little bit. It's a hugely diminished fee. It's not the real cost at all, but there are small fees for the exhibition. And some people, of course, cannot afford that, or don't have money to have the best materials for art.
That's correct.
So the board decided that we should create an outreach fund, and then artists can apply to that outreach fund, either to waive their exhibition fees,
Yes.
or we have all sorts of partners, so artists can ask for studio space with us or externally, or for art materials, and we have
Yes.
all sorts of partners with Deckled Edge and other
Oh,
service providers. So again, once a year we call for exhibition proposals, and
yes.
at the same time we also offer artists the opportunity to send in small requests for our outreach
For
fund.
outreach. Okay, that's interesting. Wow.
Yeah.
And then I also know that you guys also not only besides the outreach fund that you guys do, but and before we do touch on my next question, I'd just like to know, based on the volunteer, it doesn't just need to be something visual. If it's people who'd like to come on that can, bring on chairs, for example, or some mirrors or anything else, that they are able to bring. Is that allowed on your with your volunteer basis, or do you need to have some academic experience when you come on board to volunteer?
No, no,
Oh,
never,
you
no.
don't need
Even
that.
our artists don't need academic experience.
Oh,
As long as
that's
you
great.
want to be professional artist, you're welcome as an artist.
Yes.
And for volunteering, you don't even need
Oh,
that. Of
oh,
course, if
you
you are
don't need that.
interested in the field and
Yes.
in the gallery and in
Yes.
what happens, if you want to
Okay.
learn what happens in
Wow.
visual art,
You can come
you're
on
very
board.
welcome, yes.
Thank you. Thank you, Mirjam. For those who are interested in coming on board and checking out AVA Gallery, stay tuned because we'll be back with more. Welcome back on Open Studio with AVA Gallery. Mirjam, before we went on our break, we had some important questions for you, and we'll touch on that right now. You know, because your establishment has been in Cape Town for such a long, long time, can you tell me, with the several artists that has come onto your platform and has been a part of the AVA Gallery, tell me more about the success stories there are from artists that is not only currently with you guys, but has also moved on after being with you. Tell us more about that.
Thanks, yes. Being so ancient, of course, lots of
Yes.
people have been through our spaces, yes. And actually, when I started working there, I found upstairs in a back bathroom like 5 decades of hard archives of exhibitions that have taken place in this space that we're in now. This year we will be there 50 years. So yeah.
50 years.
But there have been people from William Kentridge to Lynn Botha and Mandla Vanyaza, lots of artists that have gone on to success. And maybe we were talking about Outreach Fund. It's nice to see some of the people that we that we could help to have first solo shows, such as Ihsan Adams and Maurice Mbikai.
Yes.
The IKEA Collective, I don't know if you
Wow.
remember them, but they had their first group show in our space with a big panel discussion. I remember that was really interesting because they were a group of 10 young women,
Yes.
kind of angry young women in a way, that came from Michaela School of Fine Art and felt that there was no space really in Cape Town for young female black artists. They said, you know, you literally don't see us and we have to shout from the rooftop that we're here. And they did. And in fact, they are now in international biennials, etc., mostly individually, no longer as a group. And for example, that discussion, you can follow it. We have a little a YouTube channel.
Yes.
And through our website, you can find also that IKEA discussion. And interesting questions came, I remember, from the audience. They would ask the young women, like, where's the handbook? You know, you're now already successful. At that stage, they were hardly successful.
Okay.
How can we learn from you? And in fact, even just listening to a video recording like that, which is 1 hour long, you learn a lot as a young artist to how to sometimes use your elbows or, you know, wait for the right opportunity.
Oh, that's interesting. So, as you've heard, for those who are watching, check it out on the YouTube channel, as Mirjam has just said. And because you guys are a non-profit organization, funding is, You know, one of the, not only the most stressful things, but it is very important, you know, to keep your doors open. So if there are viewers, you know, general in public today who are interested in helping and being able to come on board and helping in the funding aspect of your gallery, what do they need to do? How do they come on board?
Thanks. Yes. No. Also, of course, there is a donation page, a donation button on
Nice.
our
Oh, there
website.
is a
Yes.
donation button.
It says, I think,
Fantastic.
under volunteers
Yes.
and under Outreach, you say you can help now. And of course, anything helps.
Anything.
That Outreach
Okay.
fund is continuously growing, and we
Yes.
grow. We fill it ourselves by, for example, selling limited portfolios of
Oh,
prints
that's
that are
nice.
made by artists who used
Yes.
to benefit from Outreach, who have now gone on to success, and they help us often to create like a limited edition portfolio, and
That's
then
beautiful.
it gets sold at Strauss and Co auction,
Yes,
and the
yes.
full proceeds go directly into that fund. So every year we somehow keep it alive. One
Oh,
year it's bigger, other year it's smaller,
okay.
but definitely any donation to
It's
our
always
website.
welcome.
Uh,
And donations, not in terms of just a paintbrush or, you know, things like that, but monetary and all sorts of different donations are welcome to
Absolutely,
those
yes,
who are
definitely,
watching. Fantastic.
definitely.
And then, Miriam, there is something that I've noticed on your social media called Instacrew. Tell us more about that and the purpose of this Instacrew that has been created.
Thanks. Yes, that was a project out of pure need that we started, I think, in 2018.
Yes.
And it was also the time when, as I said, this Cape Town was getting so hot for visual arts.
Yes.
All of a sudden, we couldn't find installation crews or people to install exhibition that we could afford. Professionals who can hang
Professional.
the artwork
Yes.
in such a beautiful way that people also want to buy it
Okay,
in the best
understood.
possible way. They were all working in those big museums and prices were
Yes.
going up. And also it was very male and white. So we
Oh, I
realized
see.
something is going skew here. And
Yes,
then we
yes.
thought, why don't we train our own people to
To
learn the
do the
skills of
work.
how to mount artwork, sculpture, paintings, anything,
Anything.
installation art with screws or nails or magnets. There's so
Magnets.
many ways of hanging art. So again, we raised funds. It's a not-for-profit project where we
Yes.
could pay 10 young people at a time to come and work on site to install exhibitions with a mentor, which are those
That's
from those
amazing.
museums, for example. So there
Yes.
would be one expert
Yes.
mentoring a group of 3 or 4 young
Young.
installation crew, Instacrews.
Wow.
And
Okay.
by now, so we ran 2 of those sessions, and now we have a group of about 20 people that we can draw from for any
Yes.
exhibition. And
Yes.
they also, the nice thing is they also hang exhibitions now at Eco National Galleries. We get requests from
Oh.
at the
Oh.
art fair. Sometimes they
Yes.
call us and say, "Don't you have people to install exhibitions?"
Oh, that's
And we
interesting.
just straight hand through those jobs to the young
Wow.
people. So
So
that's a
that is
great,
creating jobs as well.
absolutely, yeah.
Wow, that's amazing. And then to any person who is young and who has, you know, that inspiration and, you know, who is driven within in our industry right now during this tough times in COVID, there's so many young people who just feels, what is the need to even have a dream? What would be your message to those who are watching and those young people who are interested in doing the visual arts? What would you like to tell them today?
Hang in there is one.
Yes.
Also, in times of crisis like pandemics and wars, somehow often the visual artist or the artist in general
Yes.
have managed to do something amazing. And often it doesn't come out immediately. Like now, we're all just looking for the next
Yes, yes, we
little
are, we
payment
are.
or whatever.
Yes,
And I do think also more relief is coming, also from the government. And
that's great
even
news
we've asked for a partnership from the National Arts Council to be able to help with
to help.
dispersing relief funds. But if you keep making art, I think in the next few years to come, we'll
Yes.
find out those artists that were working under that incredible stress
Wow,
often
Maria.
make the most amazing work.
That's great. That's
So
good.
I'm already looking forward to
To,
seeing what's
to
coming
you.
out of this
Yes,
stress
yes.
situation. Yeah.
So, to those who are watching and those young people, come on board, read more about AVA Gallery and check it out. There is hope for you. Don't give up on your dreams. Miriam, just quickly before we close, tell us where we can reach, where anybody can reach you guys on social media. I know you said Facebook, you're on Instagram, there is a website. And for those who want to know more, go to the website. Is
Go
that
to the
correct?
website www.ava.co.za. Also, just visit us. We're in the heart of the
apartment.
city, yes,
Yes,
and
and it's so
it's
beautiful.
organically socially distant, so you're
Fantastic.
safe in our space now.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Miriam, as the director, for taking the time out to actually speak to not only us, but our viewers today. So, for those who'd like to know more, come on board, come check it out at the gallery, check out AVA website, and there is something for each and everyone out there. Don't give up. That's from us on Open Studio. Thank you.